Hi, Hale here. As with anything in game development, there will always be bugs and glitches. In the Sea of Thieves Insider program, we get first-hand action into testing all of these soon-to-be features. This series is all about the fun bugs and glitches I found, as well as having any explanations I can give on what is happening, why it is happening, and why this has any relevancy. Please enjoy Insider's Custom Seas The Shores of Gold saga. In this saga, I will be showing my experiments with Tribute Peak and the Shores of Gold. I will show this in two main sections, screwing with Tribute Peak and messing around at Tribute Peak legendary location. The main glitch I found was an insanely strong ship launch. Beware of your boat sinking. There will be chapters if you want to skip ahead to a certain bit. Screwing with Tribute Peak was the session where I first found the ship launch. I will refer to it as the Meg Launch from now on. I wanted to see if the Meg launch was redoable, so I sailed back and recreated the conditions, but this time I am quick sailing the boat. Now I wanted to see if I could hold onto the boat and ride it as I went to the moon. I certainly can, but I did not go very high at all. Iceberg! Well, looks like it's my cue to go. This is genuinely a spaceship now. Why is this important? Well, for three main reasons. 1. It can be used for space battles. You could have a designated helm who steers and quick sails, whilst two other crewmates shoot and repair. 2. It is the highest you can go in custom seas. Considering they added both a flight and a free cam height limit, we can no longer achieve that height anymore. 3. I think it's cool, and therefore I'm going to post it, because, I think it's cool, and, that's all that really matters. I mean, if you find it cool, that's cool too, but Meg explosions are always horizontal, even if the Meg is vertical, as we just saw. I spawned the Kraken to see how it affects the Meg launch. Other than the boat being slightly slower, there was no true effect. I would say Meg launch, but maybe it should be the Kraken assisted Meg launch. This was an attempt at recreating the Meg launch with a Kraken connected. think that's enough time without an explanation. I believe there are 3 factors to be taken into account when Meg launching. Wait, before we do that, we need to understand a couple things. Sea of Thieves runs on Unreal Engine 4, more specifically PhysicsX 3.3 by NVIDIA. Rare, the developers, have only ever patched holes in the engine, so the game runs on a 12-year-old system. When any launch occurs, we are technically falling, thus speed calculations are done. There are 2 outcomes the player or boat can end in. 1, falling onto ground, 2, falling into water. However, if you were to land on a rock on a diagonal, you might notice that you don't take damage nor bob down like you're in water. Unreal Engine 4 doesn't know what to do with you in that case, so it tries to speed you up to get you out of that area. If you ever slide off a rock into the water and dolphin dive, this is why. Now, what would happen if Unreal Engine 4 couldn't figure out how to get you out of that area? Well, you would continue to speed up. Imagine a particle accelerator. You are the tiny excited particle. You speed up until you find a way out of the glitchy area you're stuck in. Now I can continue with my 3 factors in Meg launches. 1. Where your boat is located. The Meg has a very small area that it can spawn in. With the shorter launches, my boat was not placed in the center, therefore wasn't stuck for as long and couldn't reach extreme speed. 2. Where the Meg spawns. This is practically identical to my previous point, however I'd argue that it is easier to control. The Meg will always try to spawn in front of you and approximately 30 meters from you. 3. Lag. Although I cannot directly prove this, the more Megs and things I spawned on the server, the greater my Meg launches were. Now that I have explained that, we can continue. There's one more glitch I discovered. I'll explain that when we get to it. Enjoy! The next glitch is one that I find important. I'd encountered something similar to this last year. For context, at one point there was a height limit for free cam, yet no height limit for flying. The free cam also relied on what was rendered by the player. The reason why I care so much is that this is the only glitch I have ever encountered in Sea of Thieves that I had no idea why it occurred. I made a YouTube short on the glitch, and 8 months later, I somewhat know what happened. Click the card in the top right or go to the description if you want to watch it in full. I still don't know why I saw that, but now I at least know a bit about why it happened. I'll try and figure out why I saw that sometime in the future. I've edited down the rest of the clips so this video isn't too long. The next few clips are at the legendary location version of Tribute Peak. They are essentially identical, except you can't do voyages or tall tales.
gold dimension!
That was a lot. Anyway, onto my miscellaneous clips. This clip illustrates my point about positioning your boat and the Meg correctly. Whee! Perhaps an easier way to Meg Launch is to spawn 2 Megs in quick succession, as I did. The Meg Launch works with all boats that I have tested. I am certain it would work with the Burning Blade too, I just haven't done that yet. In conclusion, the Meg Launch is an interesting launch that is only really possible in custom seas. If you Meg Launch and don't want to die, activate quick commands and hold onto something if you want to stay on your boat. If you intend on having a space battle, try to quick sail when your boat has mostly stopped spinning. If you fall off, you can always teleport yourself back. I would suggest having at least 4 people to set up the space battle. 1 who stays on the boat and will quick sail, 1 who spawns the Meg and will teleport the boat back if it sinks, another who will do the same as the first person but on a second ship, and lastly someone who will try to get the boats on a similar height.
Important!
Remember that if you are moving whilst quick sailing, either forward, backwards or rotating, the boat will only fall ever so slightly compared to plummeting towards the ground. Tribute Peak shouldn't be a legendary location either. When I get time, I will try to get people together to have a space battle. See you all next time!